From kids who can barely hold a saber to grandmasters who became the Force themselves, here are the 7 levels of Jedi. Level 1. The Initiate. At this stage, you are a liability. A Force-sensitive kid with no idea of the true power that the Force holds. You're brought to the temple before you can even remember your parents, and the only goal you have is to master the 3 pillars. If you can't move a bowl of fruit while a master is literally shouting in your ear, you're out to explore another career path on a farm world. And if you think you are special, remember that even Obi-Wan Kenobi almost got force-fired. At level 1, Obi-Wan was a top-tier student, of course, but he had a problem. No master wanted to deal with his attitude. He hit the age limit of 13, and because he wasn't picked for an internship, the council packed his bags and sent him away. While he was on a transport ship headed to a planet called Bandamir to spend the rest of his life using the Force to make corn grow faster, he got his lucky break. The only reason he became a legend is because he happened to be on the same ship as Qui-Gon Jinn. Fortunately for Obi-Wan, they got caught in a pirate attack, and he had to fight for his life using nothing but his level 1 basics. Qui-Gon Jinn noticed him, and the rest is history. So yeah, you are limited to training sabers, which are basically low output sticks that just sting. And it's all fun and games until a tall guy with a blue lightsaber walks into the room during Order 66. Then, suddenly, level 1 feels like a very bad place to be. But if you are lucky enough to not be sent to Bandamir or be in a room with Anakin, then you are ready for level 2. Level 2. The Padawan. Once a youngling passes the Initiate trials, they get picked up by a master for 1v1 coaching. The iconic Padawan braid, but don't be deceived by the hair accessory because this is basically a death sentence. It is more dangerous than you can imagine because you're actually on the front lines. You are a sidekick with a deadly weapon you don't really understand, and if this was chess, you are a pawn. And at this level, you're probably trying to secure a Hall of Fame level career before a red blade even finds you. But at least you're learning a specialized lightsaber form, like Obi-Wan learning a Taru from Qui-Gon. Look at the Battle of Jabim. This was the absolute lowest point for level 2 Padawans. Almost every Jedi Master on the planet was wiped out in a series of explosions. This left a group of teenagers, the Padawan Pack, to fend for themselves. Instead of being evacuated, the Republic used them to fight. These level 2s had to lead an entire army through the mud against Asajj Ventress. Spoiler alert, almost the entire Padawan Pack was slaughtered. Only Anakin Skywalker survived, and it's one of the reasons he stopped trusting the Jedi Council. This is the reality of the level 2 experience. You are essentially a high-stakes intern in a galaxy that doesn't believe in labor laws. While the council talks about inner peace and mindfulness, your daily calendar is filled with dodging thermal detonators and trying to remember which end of the lightsaber emits the plasma. At this stage, your survival depends entirely on the master-apprentice bond. It's a psychic tether that acts as your only safety net. Think of it as a biological Wi-Fi connection. If your master is nearby, you can borrow their comm, their foresight, and their tactical genius. But the moment that connection is severed, whether by a stray blaster bolt or a collapsing tunnel, you are suddenly a teenager standing alone against an army of droids that don't feel pity or exhaustion. Despite the trauma, level 2 is where your combat identity is forged. Form 2, Makashi, is for if you're fancy and want to duel. Form 3, Sorasu, on the other hand, is for if you've realized that staying alive is better than looking cool. And Form 5, Gemso, is for if you've got a bit of an attitude and want to hit back harder than you were hit. The great Jedis learned their form and got better with time. Level 3, the Jedi Knight. After years of training, you face the Jedi trials, and if you pass, the Grandmaster cuts off your braid. The moment that braid hits the floor of the High Council chamber, you aren't just a student anymore. You are a weapon of the Republic. You are the boots on the ground, the diplomat in the trenches, and the primary target for every bounty hunter looking to make a name for themselves. Everyone thinks becoming a knight is the goal, but during the Battle of Geonosis, everyone knew the knight title is just the Council's way of saying you're officially allowed to die. But at least you are now a fully independent peacekeeper. The expectation is that you can handle Sith assassins, pirate gangs, and even droid armies solo. Look at Ganner Rysode. During the Yuuzhan Vong War, he stood alone at the World Well against thousands of enemies, and he didn't even have a master. He took down so many enemies that the bodies piled up into a mountain. His final stand was so legendary that the enemy, who hated Jedi, literally built a statue of him to honor the god who almost killed them. Level 3 is where most Jedi stay for their entire lives. Very few have the political maneuvering or the raw spiritual depth to reach the council or become a master. Most are content, or perhaps just too exhausted. It's a life of cheap rations, sleeping on transport ships, and knowing that your greatest victory will likely never be recorded in the archives. Level 4, the Jedi Master. But also how little you move. As a Jedi Master, you had to have achieved total composure. You know, little movements, harder hits. Masters have a deeper oneness with the Force that allows them to predict movements before they even happen. Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, isn't the strongest or fastest Jedi, but his mastery of Soresu, Form 3, made him an unbreakable wall. Basically, you stay chill and let the Force do the fighting. Look at Obi-Wan's final duel with Darth Maul in Rebels. Maul spent decades fueling his hate, doing backflips, and spinning his double blade. Obi-Wan during the duel just shifted his stance, and in 3 moves, the fight was over. Another level 4 Jedi is Master Zhao. He was a blind Jedi who wandered the galaxy during the Clone Wars. He didn't even carry a lightsaber, just a wooden walking stick. When bounty hunters or Sith assassins attacked him, he would just move an inch to the left, trip them with his stick, and let their own momentum do the work. He was so connected to the Force that he didn't even need to see his enemies. He could feel their intent before they even drew their weapons. Master Trassa, a Jedi, could remain in a Force trance for decades. During the Clone Wars, she was known to root herself into the ground during a planetary bombardment. While others scrambled for cover, she used her connection to the planet to disperse the kinetic energy of the falling bombs into the ground. Take the story of Master Empatogeos Brand. He was once cornered by a squad of mercenaries who thought he was just a defenseless old man because he wasn't holding a weapon. Brand didn't even stand up from his own seat. As they fired, he didn't draw his weapon. He just took a sip of tea, and with a microscopic nudge in the Force, he altered the air pressure in the room just enough to throw off their aim. The bolts fly past his ears, hitting the wall behind him. Before they could even reload, he tapped his walking stick on the floor, sending a Force vibration that destroyed every blaster in the room. He neutralized 5 men without putting down his cup. That is the type of thing you can do as a master. Level 5, the Council Elder. Only a few Jedis ever reach this level. I mean, out of 10,000 Jedi, only 12 sit in those chairs. If you are a bounty hunter and if you see a council member landing their starfighter, just get the F out of there, because you aren't winning that fight. These guys have signature moves. Mace Windu has Fapod, which turns his opponent's own hatred into his power. Yoda has the Ataru Blur, moving faster than the human eye can process. Plo Koon has Electric Judgment, basically a light side version of Force Lightning. Who needs a lightsaber when the whole universe itself is your weapon? We all know Master Faye was so powerful in the Force that she stopped aging. During a battle with Asajj Ventress, Faye didn't use a sword. She just stood there, looking calm, and used the Force to manipulate the environment. Even Ventress couldn't get close, and we can't forget, Ventress is a master-level assassin, and she was reduced to a frustrated child throwing a tantrum against a hurricane. Faye's power was so dope that she didn't even need to fight. The only reason she fell was because she chose to transfer her entire life essence into Obi-Wan Kenobi to save him. Let's also consider the legend of Master Tyvoka, the Wookiee council member who came before Plo Koon. During the Stark Hyperspace War, he was trapped in a room with dozens of elite assassins. He didn't power his blade immediately. Instead, he let out a roar that was amplified by the Force to the extent that it shattered the glass in the neighboring buildings and even knocked the oxygen out of his enemies' lungs. By the time the assassins regained their breath, it was too late for them. At the end of the day, a level 5 Jedi is the weapon, and their lightsaber is just a tool. Level 6, the Force Prodigy. This level is reserved for anomalies. You know, people with midichlorian counts that no one should have. This is Anakin Skywalker in the Mortis arc. On the planet Mortis, when the son, the embodiment of the dark side, and the daughter, the light, tried to tear his friends apart, Anakin reached out with his bare hands, grabbed 2 primordial gods of the Force by their throats, and forced them to their knees. In the Legends timeline, Prime Luke Skywalker could move so fast he appeared to be wielding 30 lightsabers at once. During the Yuuzhan Vong War, Luke Skywalker faced an enemy that used singularities, which are micro black holes, to swallow lightsaber blades and starships. Luke reached into the Force, grabbed the gravitational anchor of the black hole, and fired it back into the enemy ship. They are glitches in the Matrix, anomalies that can defeat a god. But believe it or not, there is one level which is even greater. Level 7, the Force Entity. Usually, only one person holds this title at a time. It's a state of being. You have to have transcended the physical body entirely. A custodian of the light side. I'm talking about Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Luke after they've become one with the Force. At this level, you can influence the physical world from the afterlife. A level 7 entity fights with perspective. You can reach into the mind of a Sith Lord and show them the 10,000-year history of their own failure. You can guide a lost padawan through a forest by making the leaves glow in a specific way. While the dark side may win a battle or two, the existence of the light side still remains because of you. You can summon lightning, talk to the living across centuries, and exist in all places at once. You have officially achieved what I like to call the eternal aura. And if you want to see the 7 levels of the Sith, where internship starts at backstabbing, then watch this video.